All right, mathematicians, now we should be on our next page, which is example 3. So now we're going to find the length of a horizontal or vertical line segment that does not lie on an axis. Here's a hint. It's the same methods. Mind-blowing. I have an audience for me today. It's making this a little more fun than when I do this by myself. But anyway, I digress. All right, so it says consider the line segment with endpoints -3, 3, and -3, 5. So the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put a sketch of those points. So -3, 3, I start at the origin. I move to the left 3 spaces, and then my y coordinate is +3, so I move up 3 spaces. I'm just getting a rough drawing here. So my next point's at -3, so I know that's the same place I went here, but now I'm at -5, so I'm going down. So I notice that this has created a vertical line. If you don't know the words vertical and horizontal by the time you leave my class, we have problems. I'm just saying. All right, so now it says, what do the endpoints, which are represented by the ordered pairs, have in common? So these are endpoints of lines. That's why they're points, and it's a line segment. So then it says, what do they have in common? So again, what do they have the same? So here's -3, -3. Here's 3, -5. Well, what they have the same are these two right here, which happen to be our x coordinates. That's correct. So our x coordinates are both -3. So what does that tell us about the location of the line segment on the coordinate plane? Anytime our x values are the same, that means we move left or right the same amount, it's going to line up to be a vertical line. So x coordinates the same equals a vertical line on our coordinate plane. Cool. So now it says find the length of the line segment by finding the distance between its endpoints. So this is where you can use method 1 or method 2. So for method 1, this is at 3 up here, and this is at -5. So I would just kind of skip count and kind of go backwards. So I am 3, 2, 1, 0. So I see I've gone 3 jumps, and then I've got to go to 5. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 5 more jumps. So if I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. My line segment would be 8 segments long. For method 2, I would do the absolute values of my distances here. Since 3 is this far away, this section is 3. 5, -5, but the absolute value of it is 5. It's 5 hops away from 0. So if this section is 3 and this section is 5, do you think I need to add 3 and 5 or subtract them? Well, since it crosses that point right here, I see that it makes a plus sign. Also, I know that I need this part of the line and this part of the line, so that tells me that I need to add 3 plus 5 to get 8. Now, when you go to do these exercises down here, it is your choice if you do method 1, which is skip counting and counting the tick marks, or if you add together or subtract the absolute values. On your homework, when it says explain how you found your length, you will either say, I used method 1 and counted the lines, or I used method 2 and added together or subtracted the absolute values. So just like here, it says find the lengths of the line segments and whose endpoints are given below. Explain how you determine that the line segments are horizontal or vertical. So for this one, you're explaining, you're either going to do the sketch or you're going to do the pattern that we learned in the other two examples. And the pattern that we learned is same x means vertical, same y means horizontal. So next, what I would like you to do is go ahead and find the values for find the lengths for A, B, C, D, and E. I would like you to sketch every single one of them. and I want you to guess before you sketch them if it's going to be vertical or horizontal, so you can practice this pattern over here. Since you're going to guess in your head, but you're going to do the sketch to let you know, you do not have to explain how you determined if they were horizontal or vertical, because I'll know it's because you sketched it. Once you have those lengths determined, go ahead and check back to see if you are correct or not. All right, if you are joining me now, it means you have done your exercises A through E, and you are ready to check if you are correct. So for A, you should have had a sketch of a vertical line in quadrant 2. Then the length should have been 5. If you did method 1, you simply counted from 4 up to 9. Whoop. Hello. 4 up to 9, just 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, which is 5 hops. If you did method 2, you did the absolute value of 9, which is 9, the absolute value of 4, and then you subtracted them. Notice that this makes a subtraction sign and does not cross any of the x or any of the axis, so that tells us that I need to subtract this little piece out here from our line to get 5. For number 2, we have a horizontal line. And the length should have been 10. Method 1, you simply counted from -8 to 2. That would be 8 hops, 2 more, 10. For method 2, you would have done the absolute value of 8, and since it crosses here and makes that plus sign, you would have added the values, 8 and 2 together, to get 10. For C, the sketch is over here. We have our vertical line because our x values are the same here. Notice we had a horizontal line here because our y values were the same, and we had a vertical line here because our x values were the same. So here we have our x values the same, creates a vertical line. The length would be 7. If you do method 1, you're simply counting from 1 to -6. Hop, 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 hop. 7 of them. If you do the absolute values, we would need to add together because we made that plus sign right there and we crossed into 2 different quadrants, so we need to add this piece plus that piece. For D, it makes a horizontal line here because our y values are the same. That tells me I did a method 1, hop, 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 5, or absolute value of 9 minus 4 because it makes that subtraction sign there. It doesn't cross over into any other quadrants, so I have to subtract this piece away to get just that section of the line, which is 5. And then for E, we have this long vertical line because our x values are the same. It happens to lie on the y-axis in this case. The length should be 19. Again, you could have hopped down and counted 19 hops from 8 to -11, or you could add the absolute values together because it crossed the axis and created that plus sign. That tells me I need to add here to get 19. So now you're going to go ahead to your homework. And at a minimum, I would like for you to complete 1, 2, 3. On the exit ticket side of the homework, I've again done an example here of what I'm looking for. It says determine whether each given pair of endpoint lines lies on the same horizontal or vertical line. If so, find the length of the line segment that joins the pair of points. If not, explain how you know the points are not on the same horizontal or vertical line. So if it's vertical or horizontal, that tells us we can find the length of the line. If it's a diagonal, that means we cannot find the length of the line because we need a different strategy to find that one. So explain to me, how do you know that it's not a vertical or horizontal line? It would be great if you could solve these problems on the back. There's only 3 of them, and it shouldn't take you that long. However, at a minimum, it needs to be the front. Whether you do the back or not is optional. I do recommend that you do the back. It will be good practice. There are problems on here that you will see again on the assessment. So it would be smart of you to go ahead and get that practice if you have the time. I will see you tomorrow in class.